Speaking on CNBC, Navarro says the Trump has no exemptions and no exclusion rules. Speaking on CNBC, Navarro says steel and aluminium sacred to Trump administration.
Morning, guys. So you can hold this higher low here at PVZ value. $760 is our 30-second opening range high. Just watching to see what we do from here. It's getting really volatile.
FTC ratchets up Microsoft probe and queries rivals on cloud and AI.
Oh my god. Offer sitting at 95,800 off of this bounce at our 30-second opening range high. Just watch POC
So
of
US
previous
Labor
candle here
Department's Bloor
for offer.
says Labor Department seeks to boost AI training for workers.
We have to flip back above that, or this will be where the offer sits off of this sell from the news. Retesting our POC now on NQ and ES. Watch for a potential offer here. Immediate sell from that. See if we get follow through. That was just such a crazy reaction off that. It was good. So this is just POC as offer from that news candle. Coming down to next target here at 720. It's your first risk off. We come down into previous day value low. This is our 30-second opening range low at 710. I'm out 3 of my 5 contracts here. Watching to see if we get more. This is just our value high going resistant and pushing back down to POC. If we can flip this, then we can look for more. Until then, this is POC to value low where we're risking off, as well as our view up. Again, this is just that Microsoft news candle initial reaction where we got our sweep, and then the reoffer of that sweeper down into our value edge as resistance for a trade into POC. That is a pretty classic setup on both ES and on NQ there. If you want to know why that's a classic setup, it's because it's this. Right? We're trading on a failure to hold our value high, a reoffer of our value high, and then a move to POC. Trade data is laggy today. Back into our value high here from our hold of POC and previous day value low. Retesting our edge once again into our POC of previous 15-minute candle. Again, this is the same trade. We're watching to see if we flip this or not off of the hold of POC. Buy side is attempting to flip, but we're absorbing so far into this. Just keeping an eye on it. It's fine to try to reattempt, but you have to take off your first risk at 760 for a potential high or low bid if you're playing off of 795. Keep that in mind. Yes. Just our value high edge into POC. As soon as we have someone who's very clearly offsides out of our distribution, and it's just about trading within that structure. We have to be careful because they are trying to put higher lows in. So until we can breach below 720, it's a bit two-sided here with higher lows but lower highs. Come back down to our lows. Great risk off as we push down into previous day value low at 720. Again, we've got this liquidity from 720 to I don't know, 690, 685. So we've just like this has to be our risk off until we flip it. Tom is doing that thing again. It'll try here again at 760. Then we'll just watch our 795 to 830 again. And we're just balanced between 795, 830, and 720 and 685 right now. Yeah. They're trying to bid on our value high. Pushing into POC on ES. Top 30. That was our previous high. Watching 50s now. Now that we've flipped our value. Keep an eye on this flip. Minute 30 until new 15s. Yes, still hasn't taken out highs, but RTY is continuing to push. If 30s can hold, should be able to trade 50 and then 890 to 910 from yesterday. What is this? God, so
Supreme Court says February 20th will be opinion day amid tariff wait. The Supreme Court also sets February 24th and 25th as days for opinions.
watch our 890 to 910 from yesterday. We push up after the flip of our 830 to 795. Got a VPOC here, previous day POC. No. Yeah, of course I flipped on the 830. Listen,
So just a reminder for the time that the Supreme Court usually delivers its opinions. So either on the 20th, 24th, 25th, they usually release it at around 10 a.m. Eastern time. It's not exactly that time, but tentatively at around that time.
we wait, let me see. What's your logic? Even though we're making lower highs, are we not fully confident we can push higher because the guy at 800, 830 still presents? No, right? Like it's two-sided. So we're holding POC all we're watching for is if our value high is going to continue to maintain. As soon as we see that that seller doesn't care about our value high, we have to flip once we start to show that interest at that 760. And then we're showing interest at that 795 is bid. And then we're showing interest at that 830 is bid, right? We're pushing up. So that has to be, this is our zone where we're shorting. And we're shorting back down to POC. And when that flips, then it becomes a long because that seller
Russell 2000 index
who is
rising
there
1.2%.
is no longer there, right? So we can play it down over and over and over again until it stops working. But once it flips, then we're playing our hold of our value as supportive for rotations up because it's our value high and we're now holding outside of structure. So there's no reason to be looking for anything other than a long after we show interest above our PVC value high and our value high on the day. Because if sell side serious, this will absorb into here and then we'll rotate down playing this. But as soon as we don't see that and instead we see the bid maintain outside of our range as supportive and get a retest, then we go up, not down, right? It's just balance. So if we're trading outside of our balance and sell side isn't sitting into our ledge, there's no reason to be looking for a short until we look back down through it. Right? Like sellers will hold our value edge if we're going to continue to maintain inside balance. Or we're going to trap above and then we'll look for that short on the rotation back in like we have drawn here. But regardless, like this is the range trade. It gave you 2 attempts off of the reoffer from our POC, right? Like we have this liquidity below, so we can't look for short continuation down until we flip, which is what we were talking about, right? Like we need this to go resistance, or we're just trading previous day value low as supportive, as well as today's value low as supportive. So we have a very clear profile of where we need to be risking off and where our seller sits because of that news candle into the open that new 15. That gave us our first trade to the downside. And then we got our second trade off of our retest. But the bid is still holding at the lows, so there's no desire to continue lower. And then we see the 760 hold a higher low. Right? So the bid is now trying to maintain. And then we see the flip above our value edge, and then the rotation and bid over our 730s, which are our previous highs. So we see a sweep up and then a rebid of that previous high, and then we see a rotation up. Right? So all of a sudden we have to switch because it's no longer showing interest below. And until we flip back below this, there's no short trade because it's just this. Right? We held POC and then we found a supportive hold of our value high for continuation up. If price is above value high, we should expect buyers to defend it as support on a retest and look for risk off shorts and look for a potential long, right? If price recovers POC and it becomes supportive on a look above, we target value high. Until we look above and show a supportive bid, this is where we risk off longs. This is what we were doing, POC to value high, right? This is why we were risking off our shorts, or sorry, we were putting shorts on here or risking off longs from that lower edge because we expect them to be there. As soon as we flip it, we can look long until we see the reoffer and then the rotation through. It's just a D-distribution, it's value, but we never got down to our value low. We traded to POC to value low. Or to value high, sorry. We're just trading the top of our balance from here to here. Right? Value low is down here. And now we're trying to trade previous day POC from our hold of previous day value low. So if we can find a supportive bid here at our 890 to 910, which is our zone from yesterday, right? This is previous day POC. We can then look for price to try to push up into our previous day value high up at 2520. because we're holding previous day POC. So we'll see what they do here, but that would be indicative of this, right? If we held previous day value low, and we can now find a support at previous day POC, we can then look for a move up to previous day value high. Sorry, this is mislabeled. So watching, we'll see what we do.
Philadelphia Semiconductor Index gains 1.5%.
I have to clean up these charts, man.
Spot gold rises nearly 2%.
I may get stopped on my runner here. We'll see. Just coming back down to our pivot. Watch to see how we perform here into our 730, our 830 to 795. We have to look for a potential reoffer. It's a bit more of a sell than I wanted to see, honestly, but we don't have a lot of volume on this candle that we can play around. The only thing that I see is, yeah, no, we don't have a lot of information other than this 830, 795 holding still. Potentially a reoffer at 880 for a lower high. But this is still should be treated as bid until we push back through. If we push back below 795, then we can look for a move back down to 760 for a reversion trade. But until then, like, this should be decently reactive, but watch to see if we find a bid. The secondary move here is going to be important. So this is just our value edge, retesting it off of a failure here. Either we flip back below and then we trade 795 on offer and then rotate through our range that we're already familiar with, or our edges hold here for a bid. So just really keeping an eye on it. A bit more of a drastic sell than I wanted to see at that upper edge, but we took off most risk as we pushed up into that. So we're just watching to see if we get another entry here. It doesn't make sense not to try this value edge, but I'm a bit worried about the reoffer for the lower high that we'll put in off of this. I don't know if we get the full bounce or if we're going to like reject into 865, 850. We'll see. Just retesting our value edge here at our 795, 830. So from here, we have to watch for a potential lower high and then a reoffer for rotations down. But until proven otherwise, we watch to see if a bid sits here. It's just our edge that we just talked about. I don't think the short is such a great idea here. Watch your reaction at 760 and then the reoffer. Until then, this is where the bid is going to try to absorb. 760 is your POC from previous candle. This is currently our value high from previous candle, as well as our value high in the day. We can get an initial move here down, but it's like a, I don't know, 60-40 percentage wise that you get actual follow through yet. Just like the reoffer here into our 95 is going to be a better trade. The potential for this to still be like the bid is pretty high. So just please be careful. So this should be where we find our, we get our retest as we push back. Let's see, coming back down into our 760, and then watch our reoffer here on an open new 15s. Okay, this is where we'll look for reoffer. 795. I got tagged into it. 760 first risk off, just for the 1-to-1, and then 720 full follow through if we're gonna get it. Again, first risk off here from 795, rotating down into 720 for the next trade. Yeah, it's just our reaction off our value edge off the failure, right? We expect the rotation. That gives you the reprieve, and then you do the rotation through our value. So it gives you the best opportunity. Well, I said don't try this. Like, even though we know we're probably headed there, it just doesn't make sense. When you were trying in this volatile type market, do you set the limit? Yeah, I had my limit set at 795, and then I mark it out of my cells. It's not about being fat. You just set a limit. We have a set area of risk, so there's nothing else to do other than just let that reoffer happen from our 760 bounce, and then it's just, it is what it is. We're back inside value. It's defined risk with the seller above. So like it shouldn't be like a matter of being fast. Like, it should autofill you. The reaction, like, there, it's not about, like, again, like, this isn't to call you out specifically, Sauce, but like the whole idea is that we're predicting the entire move, the entire sequence. We failed at our value high. We're expecting a relief bid at 760, which is POC of our previous candle. That relief bid we expect to then reoffer 795. If we don't get that 795 fill, we're not in this trade. Right? That's the entire reason why I talked about setting this up of the way I did, is that we expect that 760 bounce. So I want to try here, and I don't want to try to short the first attempt because I am expecting this bounce. So my risk to reward is much less because I'm expecting that this is the only thing that we get off of first attempt is the 1-to-1, right? Which is, it could go either way here. But the secondary attempt, after we've already seen that bid happen at 760, I'm now watching the same trade as before, which is the failure and recovery. We've already seen this is the same thing repeating itself. 760 bounce, 795 offer, immediate rejection and rotation through our range. It's the same trade. Yeah, we're back inside value in our D distribution. And with this liquidity that's offside above, it's probably worth holding a runner. Now that we're back to our bottom of range, we'll see. But I'd expect sell side to try to push this through if we can continue to maintain. But we're just in balance, so we'll see what happens. If we can hold 760 as our mid, which is basically our value low holding as supportive, and then POC holding as resistance, and then we flip this, then we can get more. Until then, it's just a balanced trade. See what they do here. Yeah, I mean, in balance specifically, it makes the most sense to just have a limit on either side. And then you can do like a market out on, you know, to risk off your initial if you want. But like when we have set designated zones of risk, then there's nothing other to do than just have limits at your edges because it's defined on either edge, on either side. Literally nothing else to do. Held our lows again, retesting into our 795, 830. Let's see if we flip. We would have wanted to see that sell side show a bit more interest at that 795 on this attempt. This little look above is telling me that the bid is a bit stronger and that we shouldn't be expecting that next leg down unless we can really show like a sweeper or something here. Like we've got to do something new, or we're just going to continue to range. Someone's got to get trapped here into these highs. Because if not, then we're just going to do the same thing as before, where we put in a higher low and then we bid this back up off of the flip, 830. Silk Club. So the bid is trying to hold 795 right now, which is what they did last time on the lookup. So as we push up into these highs again, we're watching to see if we flip 830s for that upside on a secondary bid, or if we're going to absorb here and then rotate back down below 795 for the rotation through.
So heads up, Germany's Finance Minister Klingbeil is currently speaking on Bloomberg TV. We'll get the video out for you on the feed.
Watching to see if we bid here now at 830s. We need to see some follow through from buyers here, secondaries, or we're going to look above, trap, and then we'll look back below, and then we'll try 795 again. Till then, you look for a flagging formation here. RTY pushing highs. Okay. Are we gonna do it or no? New 15s, opening at POC, a previous candle at our zone of control, at our highs. Watching to see how we build here. Got to get over 830 for this to matter. Offer sitting there. RTY still leading up. And Q still flat. Just balanced between our 795 and 830. Two-sided trading while we wait. If we can't breach on this next attempt, we might need to take out lows first. So we really want to see bid step above here with RTY and get the move. Or we might stall out. This is good. Let's see if we can get some follow through. Come on. Because like if we don't show any interest here, then we're gonna go back down instead of up. They can't like get it together, you know? I don't like how long this is taking. Yeah, that's fine. As long as we're not stopping out, I'm gonna try to stay, but if we do flip, then I'll just reverse and we'll be alright. If Russell starts to lose momentum, that's when we have to start worrying on NQ. Taking a break even here is fine, and then lowering your risk because of the lack of interest you follow through, I think is a fine move. Taking off my first risk here. Looking for 890 next. Okay.
Coinbase shares extend gains last up 15.1%.
RTY momentum loss and ES into POC. Watching to see where this RTY bounce happens. Just at our 730 here. See if we find another bid or if we're going to flip and then rotate. Unsure. Very clear offer at 910 still, or 890 to 910. Just watching to see if we get a secondary here. It's the same sell as before. Like there's very clearly someone just sitting up here. I'm not sure what we can do about that. See if this bid will try to defend, or if we just slice through. I hate that this takes priority on our levels. Annoying. I just got stopped on my runner. Watching to see what our reaction here is again into our 795. If we can get back above, then maybe we can try something, but more likely the 760 and then reoffer 795 is going to be the play. We'll see. Wait. Nothing's invalidated, but that seller above is still like pretty clear. So if we reject like 830 now and then look below, then I'll look to play this. So we watch to see if our offer sits here at 830 and then pushes us below 795. That'd be your first hint. If we continue to just maintain 795, 830 as supportive and to the open of the new 15s, and we look back above and then bid, then I'm not too worried about this. So we'll see. New 15s opening in 15 seconds. So offers, again, sitting here at 830. We can look at the last attempt when the sell side started to hold, that's where that offer sat. And then we look below and then we got the rejection. So into the new 15s, let's see what happens. Right now we're watching to see if 830 bids here on the little look above on the open of new 15s or if offer sustains. You can maybe attempt this with like half size with a stop at 15s playing off of 830. And then I wouldn't attempt it again if that doesn't, we don't see like an immediate bid here off of that, risking 15 points. You just wait for the flip below and then the reoffer so that you don't get chopped up. You can try to take one stab here, but if we don't get the follow through we need, then we want to dip out and call it. Again, just watching to see how we interact here. But if we don't see the follow through, then we gotta just wait. Trade's free. Let's see what we do. That's your tag. Again, 1-to-1 and then 2-to-1 there with 15 points of risk, playing 830 to 850 into our value high of previous candle. Should be at least half out of your trade by now, just in case we don't get the follow through.
Germany mulls a debt break exemption to boost raw material fund. I'm not looking to re-enter. I just got stopped on my last 2 contracts there at 15.
Offer at 8:30 again. Looking for that rotation below 795. And let's see if we get that secondary leg. Yeah, I mean it's a 2-to-1 risk to reward there, playing 60s. I mean the trade did exactly what we wanted, which is we got our relief bounce with potential for continuation, playing off 830 into 860 with we had half risk to our reward. So it's and it just is a limit order kind of thing, what you have to do. And now that we've looked below, we're watching to see now that we're back inside this value, if offer is going to be sticky for the rotation through. You can try to be cheeky here and play off of, you know, the first test and look below, but you should get a better reoffer as we pop down into our 760 where this bid has been, and then we'll watch the sell here on retest like before. Just turning indicators back on so you can see why we're targeting that area. We're basically looking for this sweeper to defend, right, at 795 to 830. I'd like to see a better reoffer, but we're seeing sell side show its first real try at defending our flip here. This is your first risk off if you're playing off the initial offer at 795. We're getting our bid now at 760. Let's see if we get the retest for the move down. NQ's going a bit higher than I'd want, but I want to see just lower high offers on ES and NQ here across the board. Kind of sucks that NQ is getting such a big bid off of the 760, and then we didn't get the rejection. But Russell's still making the lower high, and as soon as that has weakness, we get our reaction. Dang. Alright, well, it was worth the attempt. Got way more follow through there than I thought we would. It sucks. Yeah. But I want to like stay in a fucking trade, man. I'm sick of these scalps. And same as before, it's where our offer sits at ETH high, where we took profit on our first attempt on the look back over 830. I need to see follow through. Like I'm gonna stop playing this area if we don't see the bid actually happen on this attempt. There's only so many times I can trade the same area before I lose my mind. New 15's opening 10 seconds here. We're opening at our 830. Flat POCs. See what we can do. Opening at POC of previous candle in both ES and NQ. Trying to build here off of the look above, off the invalidation of our short. Need to show interest higher. Get me out of here. Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with a range when like things are actually like playing well, but when it's like break even or like barely profitable, it's like not great trading. So like I'd rather just not touch it if we're not getting the exact things that we're looking for. Like our areas are shifting here. Like 830 is still incredibly viable. That's our value high on the day. But our POC is shifting again at this 795. Like this still makes the most sense, but it's just a bit more volatile in the smaller time frame, and it's not as reactive as I want it to be. So even though like our levels are like very clear, like this move here, the seller who's sitting up here is just like so anti-fun. I can't even believe it how anti-fun they are. Like just get us out of here. Like if you're gonna sell, do something with it. Give us some movement, man. It's 20 points from 830 so far, rotating back up to our 60 where that offer sits. No difference. It's just our value edge holding. Got to get through this. Like, what is this? Come on. I'm just covering my stop here from the flip at 30s. We haven't gotten anything that's profitable yet. It's just covering stop. See if we can get the full move to 890 so that this trade can be profitable. Right now, again, it's just a break even covering our 795 to 830. There's just like zero interest up here. It's insane.
According to Interfax, Russia's Dmitriev is to hold discussions with the US in Geneva in the near future.
Do you guys remember this area? This is yesterday's area where we met that seller who couldn't get us over this 930. And then we were playing this down off the failure, right? So it's just this 890, 910 again, where we were getting chopped up yesterday into the afternoon before we got the larger breakdown of our range. So this 830 to 795 is our range low that we were looking at yesterday, right? This is this. So just to give you like an idea of like what we're seeing here, this is yesterday's range that we're trading within right now. So we created this lower distribution, which is what we're basing this off of. But then we had this upper distribution, which is what we were trading yesterday. And we saw that this was our follow through for our rotations down, right? So it's the same idea that this seller is still sitting here. And we can see that that seller is still sitting here above, right, into here. And we can see them, but we want to see if we can continue to find the bid off of this 830, 795. Because we know that if we can get it, that this is reactive and rotates us up into these highs, right, into that 890 to 910, just like we've seen over and over and over again. But if we start to fail, look at how many attempts that this has worked off of the failure, and then look below, right? failure, look below, failure, look below, failure, look below. This is why we're playing this, is because it's played over and over and over and over again off of this pivot. So when it flips, we go up to that 890. But when this fails at our 795, the probability of it playing is incredibly high, right? The flip. We just ended up holding our 860 as support of the mid of our range and didn't get the full move down. And without that follow through here, right, of the weakness on the secondary attempt, we didn't get the leg down. Instead, we got the flip where our bid showed as supportive, and then we showed a interest at our pivot again for rotations up, right? So that buyer stepped up instead of the seller stepping down. It is what it is, right? It's why it's still worth attempting that area probability wise, but like it's just not doing a ton more. But like where this, I like this pivot still on the higher time frame, because it is very good for this range that we've identified, but we need to see a bit more. Offer sitting at 84. So we push up. Again, it's just we have an upper balance and we have a lower balance. That's all this is. I just got filled at 85 on half size there. We push into our 890 offer. Same sellers before. I have one left here. See if we can find a higher low at our mid of our range at our 860. And then get over this 890, 910, or if the offer is going to continue to stick there. ES into our pivot high, into our supply. NQ trying to build at our 860 at our middle of our upper balance, watching to see if we can continue to bid there for higher low, and then head up to that 890, 910, or if this is still just going to be a hard resistance, and then we rotate down and validating and stopping us out on our final contract. Unsure. Still holding higher lows on NQ though, so I'm trying to sustain it. Sellers are definitely up here still. Why is that insane? I don't understand. Like we're just playing off of a pivot. So again, like I stopped out because the short didn't work and I didn't take profit into 60s. But like nothing invalidated. We just flipped on our 830 and then we played it up to 890. So we covered our stop, right? Because we tried here at our edge, but we stop out at 830. This then covers our stop and then we play it up and then become profitable off of the 890. Right? It's just a pivot flip. So we tried our edge, didn't work. It'll be okay. And then we just immediately fill and then take profit to cover our stopping here, right? That's what I told you. Into our 860. So we've covered because we're playing off of 30. So if we're taking profit into 60, then we are covering our losses, right? If we took a 30-point stop here on our runners, then we cover for 30 points off of our fill at 830 into 860, and then we leave runners on our secondary bids, and then just leave this as our risk profile for our rotation up to 890. There's nothing crazy about this. It's just having set risk and trading within the size of your account. And now we're just rotating up because we understand what's happening here. Again, like the structure is very clear. You just have to be willing to let trades play. If you try to get like super antsy with it and try to do too much, like you're gonna fuck yourself. But if you just allow things to play in our balances, then we look for the rotations through. We have set risk, so who cares? Just let it be. It doesn't need to be more complex than that. We have a very clear upper distribution and lower distribution. And we have a very clear pivot. The action might not be pretty, but you know, it is what it is. Our distributions are very clear. Watch to see if sell side sits here into 910, 930. Remember, this is where we failed multiple times yesterday. This is POC from our seller from 1030. This is our big wick high candle. Gotta get through this and make that supportive, or this is going to be the same trade as yesterday, where we fail to build and bid. This goes under and then gives us our offer through. ES into our top edge, failing so far. Retesting 78s, watching to see if our top of balance holds resistance, or if we're going to be able to build here and get over. Unsure as of yet. Watching to see where we can find that higher low. Continue this momentum up. Same thing on Russell. Watching to see if we find a higher low here, or if this is going to lose momentum for rotations back down off of another failure. Watching our retest of our 890. Watch your offer at 890. RTY and ES both finding that bid, but if they put in higher lows here, then it's just going to be the same sellers before, and then the rotation back down to 860 and then 830. So we need to see a very clear bid, or again, like these guys are going to be offsides, and we're going to be back into our upper balance for the lower rotation here, and then the rotation down. Just watch your offer here at 890. 890 to 910. If offer holds here, then we look down for the full rotation. If the bid can hold here and we can flip over 930, then we've got good follow through for a breakout. But you should expect your offer to try to absorb. So far, very strong reaction off of that bid into our lows. It's a good sign. Like we're still holding, again, we're just channeling up, but we're watching to see if this seller is going to put in a lower high here. If they're willing to defend this, then we can look for that push down. But again, remember, like channeling up is still occurring. We're just watching to see if ES and RTY can give us that follow through, or if that offer holds. Only thing that I see is trying to play off of that 890 if you're not in a trade. Oops. If we can flip it, great. If not, then that sweeper down is to being defended, and then we'll do the rotation back down through our balance. Just back to our POC.
Trump praises good financial numbers today, and also praises that inflation is going down.
Trump
not
just
from his Truth Social, but
so
here we go. Trump speaking to reporters at the White House. Trump and Iran says, if we have a deal, they'll be leaving soon. I think when he says that if we have a deal, they'll be leaving soon, probably about the aircraft carriers that are being sent to the Middle East. But we'll get some further clarification as to what he's specifically saying. There isn't any other live video for it, so I'll have to kind of wait and see what comes through.
Got to show interest over 30s for this to matter, or it's just the same supply from yesterday's close.
Trump says we're negotiating right now for Greenland.
Jesus. We're still talking about Greenland. That's crazy.
Trump on Europe says we get along very well. We're negotiating now.
Again, got to get over 930s for this to matter. Russell still holding uptrend. NQ still holding uptrend. Let's see if we can get this bid here. We want to see a pretty clear buy, over this 30, or this is the same supply from yesterday. Offer failed to hold 890 to 910 off of retest. We were able to maintain our uptrend, watching to see if we get continuation now. They're being absorbed so far. This is our 1-to-1 area from yesterday at the close. If you're uncomfortable trading this, then you have to wait for the breach and hold. It's the same as yesterday, where 890 to 910 is where we tried to sustain a bid. But if it fails, and this fails and looks above, we'll look for the reoffer at our 910 for then the rotation through. It's the exact same thing as yesterday.
It says oil is coming out of Venezuela,
incredibly big pivot,
and only the US is able to refine it.
Remember, if we can't get over 30 and sustain from a bid at
Trump
910,
says US is a
we
powerful
will
part for NATO.
look below and then offer and then rotate down. The supply is serious here. Please be aware. I can't reiterate enough how important it is that we show interest over 930, or this is the offer. Trump is speaking. Please be careful. Again, we're watching to see if this 890 to 910 holds. If it fails, we will look for a reoffer at 910 and then rotation through. It's the exact same supply as yesterday. We have zero confidence of a hold above 830s as of yet. We should see a little liquidity grab and then look for a reoffer if we're gonna do the same trade as yesterday. This supply at 930 is just so serious. Again, like it's top of our balance until proven otherwise. Okay, let's see what we do here. We either flip and hold 930s, and then I look up for 60s covering this, or this 910 to 930 holds offer, and then we rotate down. It's the same area as yesterday. If you're uncomfortable playing this range, don't trade it until we can clearly flip over 930 and hold, or flip below 890 and hold. This is our first test. We are still with sustaining an uptrend across the board. God, I hate this area so much. Our 910 is trying to hold bid. I need to see us get over 930 for this to mean anything real and then show interest, or this is where we just absorb again into our highs. Again, like it's such a choppy area. It's so tough. Once we breach and hold, then we can play off of it. Until then, like either wait until we breach a side and hold to sustain, or that's it. I mean, that's literally it. This area is the worst. This is your 1-to-1 on 910 to 890 bid into our 30. Offer still sitting here, no change. Haven't taken out our wick high yet. Again, we need to see a clear sustained bid above this, or this is still just supply. Back to our 910 off of 830 rejection, no change. Get me out of here, man. Yeah, don't play it. Like it's that easy. Like I said, if you are uncomfortable taking a break-even trade, then do not play the area. It's really that simple. This is the break-even that I'm talking about. Is you have a 1-to-1 trade while we wait for a break of a side here. And we have a break-even trade here. And we are watching to see which way we go with our runner. It's the same thing. And if you're uncomfortable playing that, then wait for a side to break and hold. It's really that simple. I can't reiterate that enough. We know that this is supply. We know it's going to be choppy. So if you're unwilling to try to play the higher low, right? The higher low or the lower high, then just wait. This is what I'm talking about. There will be opportunity on either side if we can get the follow through. Until then, right? Not a lot here until we can figure it out. If we can get this secondary above our 830 and bid, then that'll give you an opportunity to try. But we need to see our offer sustain. Pushing up into secondary target on our long, if you're playing off of 830, as we push into 60s, this is your risk off for the 2.5 to 1. Retesting our 30 edge. Brother, this area is the worst. Holy, give me follow through on anything. Offer sitting at 30. So liquidity is now trapped above 30. POC is sitting there. Fire at this 910 to 890. It's the sell from yesterday, Odin, where we had our supply. This level is from yesterday's range. This is the same sellers. If you're playing off of 910, this is your first risk off for a 1-to-1 into 930. Again, like we're just holding our liquidity here. There's been no change, no shift. But God, is this area miserable.
Trump says that we're looking at a prime minister for Iraq. We'll need aircraft carrier if there is no deal with Iran.
We're now at 2-to-1 Off of our 910 to 890. No change. Rotating up. Let's see if we can breach highs or if this is going to
Trump
continue
says
to fail.
second carrier just arrived in the Persian Gulf.
I can't do anything for you other than show you where the risk is and where the best reward is. There's your break of highs.
Trump says Russia wants a deal and Zelensky has to get moving.
I've taken off 2 here into R60. I have 1 runner left.
Trump just repeated what he said earlier on to White House reporters that we're negotiating right now for Greenland. Trump says, I think Iran talks will be successful. If the talks are unsuccessful, it'll be a bad day for Iran.
Okay. Okay, man. Okay, so I want to go over this area a bit more because I think it's important to understand from a risk management perspective of what we're watching for and how this area, you can play this area. Even if you don't like it, that's fine, right? Like it is what it is. But I want you to understand the logic behind it because I think that that's important. What we're watching for here on either side of this trade is which side are we coming from? Which side are we coming from? If we're coming from above, we're watching for it as a bid and a continuation. If we're coming from below, we're watching it as an offer. Why? Why does it matter which way we're coming from? Why is this the short at 910 to 930 make sense if we get stopped out below 890? What is this liquidity then? Oops, I didn't mean to move that. Why do I care about only looking for a short on the lower high here? Because this liquidity would then be offsides, right? So we're watching for the offer to lower itself. Yeah. Right? So that's why we're watching that, is that if this long invalidates, then I'm watching for the short to be here on the look back. Until then, we know that we're in an uptrend, right? So the idea of looking for the long is fine if we can get this follow through, and any look since then is fine because we haven't invalidated and we're not back into our range. So this is just us holding where we need on the higher time frame to try to bid and flip this pivot. It's a huge pivot for us. We know that already. We can just look left and see that. So any look above that we get that doesn't have follow through, we want to be watching for that lower high and then that follow through down, just like we were doing yesterday. Right? This is the same idea, is that if we see a sweeper step in and throw us down from a lower high at our 30, I wanted them to be playing this to the downside, because then we have this liquidity that's trapped above. But if we're bidding higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, we're watching to see if we can get this break. We're willing to try to play this retest because it's a 1-to-1 risk to reward here. We have the same reward and the same risk on this breakout. And we know when we're wrong, because if this fails, we're watching for the lower high off of the stop out here from our 1-to-1 long. And then we're looking to then trap that liquidity and then rotate us down, right? So our risk is incredibly limited if played correctly, because we know that we're going to bid and then follow through.
That concludes Trump's comments.
Or
He
stop
was
out
on Fox News
and then offer and then continue downwards. That's the idea. We have a very limited risk if you're just playing off of our edge. And so when we look left, it's the same thing again, where as long as we're maintaining above, I don't have anything to worry about, because we're still bidding above and we're still holding, and we haven't seen that sweeper be able to defend anything other than our 1-to-1, right? Like this, again, this is just our 1-to-1 here, playing off of the 910 to our 30, and then our secondary target is here into our 60. As long as we're maintaining this risk, there's no reason to be looking for a short. If we can see that look below and hold, then we can play off of the trap liquidity that's above us and then play this down. But until then, right, like it's worth trying for the bid. The only reason we were looking for a short here is because of this follow through and this takeout. We see it stopped at 30s and then it's a flip for a buy. Yeah? If we don't get the follow through for the downside and we take out highs, like
he will visit Venezuela, but we haven't decided when.
The seller isn't there for the lower high and then the continuation down. If they're not there, then it is what it is. But our risk is very limited here because our, like, again, it's a 1-to-1, and then the follow through allows for that continuation down. Does that not make sense or no? Maybe this is too of a complex area for you guys to execute properly on, which I totally understand. But it's just a pivot. If we stop out on the lows, then I look for the short. If we take out the highs, I look for the long. That's literally all I'm saying. This is the worst area though. Holy. I have one runner left from 30. Just into our supply here on NQ. I'm debating if I just take off for 1,000. I feel like we could probably head up to 50 though, if we can reach 25k. I don't know. It's such a stupid area. Yeah, that's kind of what I want, Maldito, but I don't know if I'm willing to hold my runner for it. I don't know. I wish I had more, but I don't. And I don't have like a good bid until we can flip 25k. I don't even know where I'd put my stop here. Like 40, I guess. I don't know. It's like the thing is we have a potential 3-bar on the 15 on ES. And I really want follow through above this pivot, but like I just don't know if we're getting it. This is such a choppy uptrend, man. Makes execution it's just the worst. True. Lord. Remember, Monday is a short day. I don't know if Mario or I will be here. It's President's Day Monday, I believe. So it's a half-day market. I'll know more by Sunday to see if like there's gonna be any liquidity, but usually like half days are the worst. Not worth your time.
Good morning.
Okay. Same area we closed yesterday before the breakdown.
Imagine that.
Yep. It's a half day Monday. Market closes at 12. That's why I said like it's probably not worth your time.
Hell no.
President's Day. Jesus Christ. There'll be another opportunity if we can breach 80 to 25k and then bid and hold that. And then use that to play up. It's the same thing as like this area here from our 890 to 930. Just gotta be able to flip this. Yeah, it's the slow grind up with infinite chop, where you just have to stick to your guns on your levels for anything to be valid. It's a very hard area to execute if you aren't comfortable with your stops. I was replying to you, Sauce. Sorry, I just saw your comment.
Already annoyed.
I think we play it like this. If you're not already in from 30 or from 910, you gotta wait for a reaction into 25k and then look to see if like 25k to 80 can basically flag. Or just the pop over 25k to bid should be the same thing as like our 30 below our 930. Just watch to see. our reaction into this, but this is like supply on footprint, so makes sense to find a bit of an offer, but then we're gonna watch to see if the bid can hold from lower for the continuation up.
Surprised at how thin ES still is into these highs. Size is just outside.
Weekend plans? Not really. It's too cold, man. I don't know. I don't want to do anything on the weekends anymore. Maybe I go see a movie. I don't know. What about you? Any plans, club?
Fishing.
Fishing?
Hell yeah.
Ice fishing?
Mm-hmm. It's actually almost like too warm. It's gonna be, it's like 40 here.
That's not great. It's just like muddy here. You go outside and it's just mud everywhere.
It's gross.
Yeah, it's like, it's just the worst. I don't even like want to walk my dog because I have to give her a bath afterwards.
No, I've been crashing out with these winters. It's like no snow, really cold, and then just like mud season for 3 months.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
If offers give you anywhere, excuse me, it'll be here at 80 to 25k on retest. I'm still just in my runner from 40, from with my stop at 40. But if you're trying to play, watch your POC here at 80 from previous candle for lower offer. Until we can tag into these highs, you're watching for this as a potential sell from our supply. It's the same as this pivot down here. It's a little bit messy because of the way that we're trading, but You have to watch for the look above and then the hold for a continuation higher, or this will be our supply. I'll be right back. Uptrends are still holding on the higher time frame. It's just chopping sideways here at our supply. Just again, just like from below.
Sauce, the Corvettes event today. Jackson Hole, you watching?
Sorry, I just got back. Are you talking to me?
No, Sauce.
Oh, okay.
You don't know about Corvettes? Oh my god. No, it's the steepest frontside shoot in the States, man.
You hear the drones whipping by? His hair looks like a wig. This is your reoffer here into 80s if it's going to happen, or we'll look for the flip and then the bid. Again, this is just POC of previous candle. Yes, and RTY is just sideways, NQ just sideways. Or watch to see if offer sits here.
Same
or
is
if
going
we
to
can
begin
flip.
Baker Hughes oil recount and total recount. Total recount prior 551, oil recount prior 412.
Did Fred again put out a new album? Is that what this is?
There's actually been like a lot of music lately coming out.
How is this a new album? Oh, it's a remixes. I see. There's Garoto. This is first risk off if you're playing off of 80 for 1-to-1 into our 60. You have 20 points of risk from our 80 to 25k. So you take off into 60 to make the trade free. If you get a secondary move, it'll be the offer flipping 60 for the continuation down. I am unsure what we do from here. Again, for the secondary bids, you gotta see a flip and hold from our 25K takeout, and then the 80 bid for anything more. I've been utilizing the method. Does wonders for mental sanity in trades. The 1-to-1 method. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Just like, I'll let shit play. Let your runners work. And then just like, if it invalidates, it invalidates. You'll be all right. And again, remember, even on 1-to-1, you can still be profitable if it comes back on you. If you trade like 3 contracts, you take off 2 into first target, right? You're 1-to-1. And then you leave 1 runner, and then you are profitable regardless if the trade doesn't fully play out. You do something like that. There are lots of ways you can play it risk-wise. You just have to figure out what works best for you with your leverage. And again, like if you don't have the liquidity to trade multiple contracts, then with the 1-to-1 method, you can just move your stop to break even once we hit our first target, which is 1-to-1. So you'd move your stop from 25K down to 80 or whatever your entry was. And then if it comes back on you, no harm done. But if we can get the follow through, then you at least are covering yourself just like you would if you were taking off 1 contract.
According to Nikkei, Japan is to issue Vietnam $10 billion in yen loans.
For the secondary leg down, you'd want to see 60 try to defend for a rotation back down to 20 to 30. Or we might fade out here if sell side can't put in the lower high.
5 minutes ago, to begin the Baker's total rig count prior 551, oil rig count prior 412. According to Financial Times, US Secretary of State Rubio skips Ukraine meeting with European leaders in Munich.
$60 offer held, trying to take out lows now, rotating down for secondary. You're now at 2-to-1 risk reward playing off of 25K to 28. Does this method make sense to you guys?
Further from
no?
the FT
Like,
piece,
I
then
really...
Rubio has skipped a meeting with European leaders on the war in Ukraine in a move seen by European capitals as signaling Washington's waning interest in involving them in its efforts to solve the conflict. Rubio was set to attend the meeting with leaders from nations including Germany, Poland, Finland, and the European Commission in Munich Friday afternoon, but cancelled at the last minute because of scheduling conflicts.
Yeah, that's why I've been like really focusing in on it, because I'm trying to help you guys with your risk vantage bid.
A US official
really
said that the secretary won't be attending the Berlin format meeting on Ukraine, given the number of meetings he has happening at the same time. He's engaging on Russia-Ukraine in many of his meetings here in Munich.
Need up a lot of liquidity resting on ES. Not a huge restack on the bid yet. Let's retest to 90. Enjoy, friend.
Literary alarm. Yes, going to start trying to use that method. That way I can let trades play out without stressing. Yes, man. Let it be.
Trump, when asked if he would visit Venezuela, replied, "I'm going to make a visit to Venezuela," but he didn't offer any additional details.
Cool.
Surely expecting Baker Hughes recount data. So just a reminder, it wasn't on his schedule originally, but we're going to put out a video where Trump is due to deliver remarks to the military families at Fort Bragg. So this is probably him speaking to reporters before he's due to go on stage. So on his schedule, it did say it will be decided whether or what time he's going to be speaking.
New 15s. Back to our low pivots here. POC above us on previous candles. Watch our reoffer into those. POC to value high, previous candle. Whenever you reduce risk at 1-to-1, do you move your stop to break even or wait to do that after getting above, say, 2-to-1? I think you make a great point. A lot of the times I keep my risk the same once I've taken 1-to-1. But once you get over that 2-to-1, I think moving into break even totally makes sense. It just really depends on. I don't have such a structured rule set personally, but that might be very helpful for you. I usually am watching the order flow. So if I see a shift, then I will exit earlier because I have a better read than I think a lot of you would have. But that might be a good guideline for you to follow. Is that once it hits 2-to-1 to then accept a break even if it comes back down. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That's one of those things that you're gonna have to mess with and figure out what feels good for you and what keeps you in that trade and gives you confidence to maintain. That's going to be a personal thing, but yeah, moving it up to break even can be very good for you once you hit 2-to-1, for sure. Yeah, exactly, Sauce. And that's kind of what I was getting at. Is if once you like have a better understanding of like what's happening in the market, moving things then make a lot more sense. once you have that knowledge. So watch to see what happens here as we push down into 910 to 890. See if we have buy side liquidity here, and if we can get back over 30s, or if this is going to flip for the offer. Remember, this 910 is your risk off for the short if you're playing off of the 980 or the 960 as we push down into this liquidity here at 910 to 890. This is where we took our long, right? This is where that bid is. So you're watching to see now if we find that bid here. The 1-to-1 is off of 910 into 930. You're playing off of 890 to 910 as your risk. And then you can try to see if we get a secondary move, if we can flip back over 930. Just got to watch and see. We expect the offer to try to sit here at 930 if we're going to continue downwards. And then if you aren't in this short already, I think that the opportunity presents itself. If we see this seller at 930 and we take out this low, then we'll look for that reoffer like we have drawn. Offer holding 30s so far. No change. Just coming back down into this liquidity.
OpenAI have been tapped for voice control tech in a US drone swarm test.
Brother, what? That's the most dystopian headline I've heard in a minute. What did he say? What did he say? Again, first risk off here into 930 if you're playing off of 910 to 890. This is your 1-to-1. The globe? You doing that? You got the globe? This is the sync. Weird.
Still some liquidity on 85s here. Just got taken. Looking for a stack on 90 again.
So seeing the Baker Hughes total rig count unchanged at 551, while oil rigs are dropped 3 to 409.
Coming up into our secondary targets here, boys. This is 2-1 now at our 60. You're playing off of our 910 to 890. 1-1 was 930. 2-1, right, is now here into our offer where we just saw that POC test. So easy trade, good flip. If we can get back above, then we'll look for that 80 to go to supportive off of the hold for the next leg. But understand that this is POC of our sell side candle here at our 955 to 967. See if we can get the flip. It's $1,000, so just this rotation here from our 910 into our 960. Does that are you guys like following? Does this logic, are you starting to like, is it clicking a little bit or no? Okay. Right, like this is here, you can see my execution. We stopped out. We waited for the 910 again. We took off into 30 on our first contract to make it free. We took off into 60 for the 2-to-1. I don't know, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. It's gonna be a move this pivot over, this trade over all day today kind of play. I already know it. Are most of your rectangle zones based off of the candlestick chart with the numbers you have? Most of my levels are based off of our footprint. So like this 60 is the POC to our value high of our previous candle. This 80 to 25K was our sell from yesterday, where we saw the supply. It's an old level, but it's where this node was. So it's all volume based mostly. Our previous zones, our 890 to 910 was also just a big pivot from
Shortly expecting results from the Fed reverse
yesterday.
repo operation.
Where we flipped on the retest here, then we bid and popped up. So it's but mostly they're like footprint based or volume profile based. This 30 was our highs into these nodes where we were basically looking for this absorption here, and then we were playing the offer on the look below, and then the rotation down yesterday into close.
Three counterparties
then
take
today-
just $377 million at the Fed reverse repo operation.
And then in today, instead of this being our offer and retest, it's been our bid and retest for rotations up. So it's just a big pivot. We flipped from this being supply to our top of balance, right? It's holding us supportive right now. We're just watching to see how we interact here. Is this going to be a lower high that then leads to this leg down and you know, push through? Or from here, can we bid, hold a higher low, and then rotate over, giving us our next leg up? That's kind of what I'm looking at on the higher time frame. Is this going to become supportive, or does this stay resistance? With this being our lower offer right now that we're trying to push through, right? So we're holding our upper balance as supportive. But yeah, most of my zones are based off of where I've seen absorption or where supply is showing on footprint. And then it's just playing around the These are the areas of interest that we've talked about today so far in this area. Does that make sense?
In the bid pull a bit here in ES. Really want to see some size come in and hold this 90 if we're gonna complete up to 95. So look through on sweeper.
$60 offer holding still. This is just that POC to value, previous candle, same pivot on ES, no change. Why is straight like the most like obscure like I don't understand, man. It's like half of what he says he doesn't press enter on, and then like only a phrase gets pushed through into chat. All right, man. He's already talked once today. He speaks again at what, 2? He's pulling up right now. This is insane, dude. Celeste is so broken. Holy, her movement is nuts. Back into our supply here. This is your next risk off. If we can get into 25K, I would then look for this upside move for secondary. This is supply where we took the original short. Watch to see if we can tag into this high, take out these highs, and then look for this 80 to 60 to go supportive. If we can take out previous highs. If you missed the previous move, that is. This is your first risk off if you're playing the 80 to 25K into our 60 for 1-to-1. We can flip 60 and hold, then it's the same trade as before. Supply is still supplying. Watch for that secondary offer on the look below 60 and then hold if we're going to try to defend it. Again, need to tag out of 25K for any sort of upside move and then look for that 80, just like we did here before at this 30. We're watching for a very similar setup for another leg if we're going to get it. Until then, like, offer sits here just like it did from 910 to 930 below. I wish I could just like anchor these so that they would continue to move and I don't have to manually do it. It's so annoying, man. Watch your reoffer into 60 for that lower high potential. Lower high, you're basically just looking to see if 60 to 70 will hold for, and then reject for the push down, trapping this liquidity for the secondary move, or if we're just gonna like chop it up here. Looking for our reaction here to see if we get that secondary leg or if this is going to flip. Failure to make a lower high, just back to our original offer here into our supply. No secondary leg down. Just retesting our supply here. Again, if we can take out 25K and then bid 80s, I'll look for upside. Until then, this is just still supply. New 15s opening in 40 seconds. Supply is still here at 80 to 25K, no change. 1-to-1, 60s. See if we can get the secondary move here. Again, only looking for a long. If we can flip our 25K, tag us out, and then rotate up. Until then, it is supply. Again, same as before, watch your 60 to 70 for a potential lower offer. For that next leg down, back to 30. If we don't get it, then it'll be the same thing again, where we test back into our 80 to 25K. I'm gonna dip out here soon. Not doing another all day. We've done too many of those this week. Into our 80 offer here once again. Trump just started speaking. Right, so just careful. This song is so corny, man. Jesus. Way down. First risk off here into 60s. If you're playing off of our 80 to 25K, no change, 1-to-1. Supply is supplying. Again, just like before, until we can flip and hold below our 60, there isn't a secondary leg. But the trade is now free, playing off of supply at our top edge. I don't know how many times I need to draw these for you guys, but I really don't want to keep drawing them. The levels are the same. Like I don't know, man. I don't I don't know how many times I can make the same profit and loss box, but I'm not moving them over anymore. Like you get the idea. Like I can't be bothered to keep doing this. That's your 60 again, 1-to-1 from our 80 supply, same as before. Again, need to flip 60s and offer for a secondary leg down for the full rotation. Offer is incredibly clear at 80 to 25K. Two left off of 80. Just took off one more. One left. PT at 30. On final contract. Trade is now free and very profitable. God. New 15's opening now. Got ourselves a classic, a Trump rant classic. He's doing all the bangers. He's talking about Biden. It'll be Obama next, and then it'll be all the bangers. 5 months and lots of days. Yes, bouncing bottom of range here. RTY bouncing bottom of range. NQ failed to shift 60 offer. Pushing back up to our 80 to 25k again. It still blows my mind that he felt comfortable enough to say that. It's crazy. But at this point, I feel like they have. I mean, Trump said it himself: is that he could shoot someone and they would still vote for him. Like, it just doesn't matter. It's not about him anymore. It's about hating the Dems. You vote out of spite these days. Both sides, right? Spite votes. Except the Dems won't vote. That's the difference. They hate you on your side, they just won't vote. Republicans will just vote regardless. Easy win. One-to-one, 80 offer holding back to our 60, no change. Offers still offering. All right, I'm probably gonna head out. You guys are good. I don't want to spend the entire day. This range is nice. It's good money, but like it's the same trade over and over, and I don't want to be here all day. We've done like three or 4 days this week. Full days. That's a lot. Again, 1-to-1 here. Yeah. Well. We've had like such good mornings that I was expecting like really solid follow through. But we just haven't been getting it. So it's, but I mean, these levels are good. Hopefully people are playing with the risk to reward. Again, like I'm not going to continue to draw these over and over again. Like it's getting out of control. It's a range. It's free money until proven otherwise. All right. Goodbye. I'll post charts in chat, but I mean, you should be very familiar with these pivots. I'm going to stay in this runner until it invalidates. There's no reason to do anything else. Again, 80 offer is very clearly volatile and pushing us down. Just back down to our bid here. This is where you should take off some. And then follow through will be that 930, and then flip is 899.10. Until then, not much here. Just chopping while Trump speaks. I don't think I'm going to be here Monday with President's Day. I'm not trying to trade a half day. They're always terrible, and it's a Monday. I already don't want to be here on a Monday. All right. Goodbye, friends.